Hello. So in the last session we discussed about the derivation portion. That was our first derivation. We discussed about free undamped vibration, basically in SDF system, that is single degree of freedom system. In this session we'll be discussing about mathematical modeling. And before discussing mathematical modeling, we must know what is springs or what are the functioning of springs. Springs can be connected in two phases. As you all know that springs can be connected either in parallel condition or in series condition. So the stiffeners that we are providing or the values that are acting as stiffeners can act either in the parallel direction or in the series direction. So how the calculation of that stuff is to be done, we'll be seeing in this session, and then we'll be moving on to the mathematical modeling of few examples. Okay, so first we'll be seeing that portion, that is the springs in parallel portion. So as you can see here, this is a mass having a body having mass m. It is connected via two springs that are in parallel position with a rigid support. This is a rigid support. So as you can see, after applying a force P, the stiffness that is acting in the spring is K1 and K2. As they are connected in parallel, the stiffness can vary in the proportion, so it cannot be directly assumed that K1 is equal to K2. There may be change in the stiffness itself, so we are taking the stiffness to be K1 and K2. So after applying the force P, as you can see, it will be moving in the horizontal direction. So assuming the displacement to be y in the horizontal direction, so this is the model that we'll be looking upon. So now KE, the first thing will be to find the effective stiffness. If there are more than one stiffener materials, or you can say spring, if we are introducing in it, then we need to find the equivalency factor in that, and equivalency factor is known as KE, that is our equivalent stiffness. So equivalent stiffness here will be equal to K1 plus K2. Whenever we are talking about springs in parallel condition, then the final answer will always be the summation of the individual stiffnesses. Here the stiffness of first spring material is assumed to be K1 and the stiffness of second material is assumed to be K2. So here the total equivalency will be equal to K1 plus K2. So this is the equation that you will be remembering for springs that are connected in parallel, and generally for n numbers of spring in parallel, it is basically defined as Ke equal to sigma from I to n, where I is equal to from 1 to n Ki. Clear? So this is the summation of that portion. Now the second part that we'll be dealing with is springs in series. So to follow springs in series, we must take an example. So let us assume that again there is a mass m which is connected to a rigid support, but in this time it is connected via two springs that are placed in series. Clear? As you can see here, this is the first spring and this is the second spring. So the force is applied P, and after applying the force P, there will be a displacement of y in the horizontal direction. So here the stiffness constants are K1 and K2. K1 belongs to spring 1 and K2 is the coefficient of spring 2. So whenever we are talking about the springs in series, then we will be calculating the individual displacements, whereas in the case of parallel, both the springs were displaced equal amount. Clear? Both the springs were displaced equally, but in the case of series, that is springs in series, this K1 will be different than K2 and both are connected in our series factor. So the total or the overall displacement is y, but the displacement due to K1 will be different and displacement due to K2 will be different, whereas in the case of parallel, both conditions were same. So here let us assume y1 is the displacement due to K1 and y2 is the displacement due to K2. So to find the displacement, the equation is load upon stiffness. Clear? So y1 will be equal to P upon K1 and y2 will be equal to P upon K2. From here you will be getting that displacement for a specific springs, that is for springs K1 and K2. So y1 is equal to P1 upon P upon K1 and y2 equal to P upon K2. So the total displacement will be equal to y, that will be equal to y1 plus y2. So summing it comes out to be P upon K1 plus P upon K2. Now consequently the force necessary to produce unit displacement is given by K equal to P upon Y. This is the generalized equation. Wherever we need to find is Y. the what will we do, we'll be summing this portion, that is we'll finding the equivalency portion. So the equivalence stiffness or the equivalent stiffness coefficient will be denoted by Ke. So Ke will be equal to P upon Y. Now as we all know that this y will be equal to y1 plus y2, and y1 and y2 are already known to us. So we'll be substituting this value, that is y1 equal to p upon k1 and y2 equal to p upon k2 in this values. Now p will be cancelling out on both the cases, so ke will be now 1 upon 1 plus k1 plus 1 plus k2. So now simplifying it, we are getting an answer 1 upon Ke equal to 1 upon K1 plus 1 upon K2. So whenever we are dealing with springs in series, you can follow this equation. That will be helpful by solving your numerical part. Also, if you want to more specify this equation, then we can also write it as Ke equal to cross multiplying, just taking the LCM and cross multiplying, we will be getting Ke equal to K1 into K2 upon K1 plus K2. So either of these two equations you need to remember to solve your numerical problems. That is for whenever the condition is given springs in series, or you need to identify whether the springs are in series or are in parallel. Yeah, so this was all about springs, whether placed in series or whether placed in parallel. Now we'll be talking about mathematical modeling. Now basically what do we mean by mathematical modeling? So for that we'll be taking a basic example, this, that is a lump mass model. This is a lump mass model. Here you can see that the body is having a motion or a mass m, which is connected to a rigid surface. So the connection is via a spring, that is spring element, and a dashpot is provided. Either you can say it is a dashpot or you can say it is a damper. So the force is applied here is Q of t, or you can say F of t. So as per the D'Alembert's principle that we have discussed earlier, F of t will be equal to the summation of the remaining forces, that is the spring force, the damping force, and the inertia force. Clear? So this will be the mathematical model. So this expression will be the mathematical model of how we are representing. We will be representing every time in the terms of spring mass model. So the representation of any structural point or a structural design, or you can say structural element in a spring mass model is known as mathematical model. So this will be the mathematical model, and this is the free body diagram of that mathematical model. So we will be seeing in detail that how actually the mathematical modeling will be working. For that we'll be taking few examples of how to solve mathematical modeling. See, these are the forces that we have discussed. The Kx is the stiffness force, this is the damping force Cx dot, and this is the inertia force Mx double dot. Okay? So now moving, first, what are the assumptions that we need to remember while discussing or while solving the mathematical modeling of any structure? So there are few examples, or you can say few assumptions that we will be discussing upon. The first is mass of columns is very small in comparison to that of slab. We are assuming that the EI, that is flexural rigidity. Yeah? So we are assuming the EI, that is flexural rigidity of beam or slab, to be infinite. Clear? So we are not discussing, or we won't be discussing generally regarding the beam portion. We always will be discussing the inertias of the column parts whenever we are discussing about frame structures. So here, as you can say, mass of columns is very small in comparison with that of slab. Second assumption is that the entire mass of portal is concentrated at slab level. That means it is in the form of an inverted pendulum. The ground will be acting as a rigid surface, the columns will be acting as the string, or you can say the stiffener material, and the beam or slab will be acting as the mass. Clear? So this will be how the lump mass model will be creating for any structure. So this is the again the assumption. Third one is axial rigidity is very large, as just discussed. EI for axial members, that are beams and columns, we are assuming it to be very large, that is infinite. And the axial stretch in columns is negligible. That means the stretch axially in the columns or the vertical direction is generally neglected. Only the bending, or you can say delta, is considered. Joints can be assumed to be rigid. Now why so? Because we are assuming that it is made of a monolithic structure. That means it is made of a homogeneous material. The material that is used in beams is the same material that is used in column. We are assuming that. And if that is the case, then the joints can be assumed to be rigid. Means whenever we are considering a monolithic structure or a homogeneous structure, at that time the joints can be assumed to be as rigid. So these are the assumptions that are being asked in your examination regarding the assumptions of mathematical modeling, or how to, or what are the assumptions you need to do while plotting mathematical modeling. Clear? So these are the assumptions. Now we'll be moving on to our main cases, that are mathematical modeling of few structures. So first, this is a structure that is given, or a system that is given. It is just a water tank that we are dealing with. Now the water will be stored in this upper part. Clear? This is just the foundation portion. This will be the foundation portion. This is the support, we can say vertical support, and the water will be resting here. So here the mass of the structure is basically located in this top half, that is the top portion. Clear? So here this will be the R structure. That means this is the support, that is a rigid support. It will be acting at a single line in 1D object, and then our entire mass will be concentrated here. Clear? So if we talk about the deflections, as the support is vertical and as the ground is rigid, as we consider, then there is only one possibility of motion, that is in this horizontal direction. Clear? So assuming this as our deflection, so the total deflection that will be calculated will be delta. Clear? So this will be our deflection delta, and delta can be calculated using our cantilever system. As you can see here, if one support is fixed and other support is free, it can be termed as a cantilever. So for delta will be PL cube by 3 EI. Clear? So for this case, our delta will be equal to PL cube by 3 EI. EI will be flexural rigidity, P will be the horizontal force, L will be the length, that is the length of the support. Now this is the mathematical modeling that we need to find, or we need to write upon and ask in your examination. So this will be the rigid surface. Rigid surface will be always representing in this way. Our mass will be concentrated in this level. Clear? So this will be our mass M, and it is connected via a support which will be acting as a stiffener material. So this will be our support, with will be denoting in a spring mass model to be in the form of a spring. Clear? So this will be our column support, which will be acting as a stiffener, having the stiffness value K. Now we will be moving, assuming it to be moving in the x direction. So this is the horizontal direction after applying the force F of t. So this is the mathematical modeling. So now the free body diagram, that is FBD of this structure, will be something like this. This will be the mass. So the first force that is acting will be the external force. Now external force is acting in the horizontal right hand side direction. So here will be our external force. Clear? Here it is connected only via a spring. There is no dashpot or damper connected to it. So if there is no dashpot or damper connected to it, then the value of Cx dot will not be coming into picture. That is, the damping force we will not be considering it. So direct considering only the two forces that are left, that is the inertia force Mx double dot and the stiffness force, that is Kx. Clear? So this will be the free body diagram of this given system. Now moving to our second part. Our second part here will be a portal frame. A portal frame having a mass m1 situated at this floor, but here there is an intermediary portion available here which has no mass in it. Clear? The mass is located only in this layer, as we can see here. So now assuming the mass here to be m, assuming the stiffness here to be K1, this both the columns the stiffness is given to be K1, this both columns the stiffness is given to be K2. So K1 will be equal to 2, it is given in this question itself. K2 will be equal to 1, it is again given in the question itself. So this is the system that we will be dealing upon. Now first thing is to identify whether the stiffness model that we will be dealing with are the springs in parallel or are the springs in series. Clear? So again, this will be both the columns that are parallel to each other, but if we take this slab to consideration, so if we open this frame, then this support will be coming on this side, this support will be coming on this side, and it will be acting as a horizontal line. Clear? You can say a rigid structure, or you can say a rigid frame, fixed beam type of element. Clear? So portal frame is generally open up to be a fixed beam. So as you can see, if I move again this support here, if I move this support here, then it will be acting as a fixed beam, and fixed beam is always in a series connection. Clear? So though these two supports are parallel to each other, if we connect this intermediary, then it will be becoming a series connection. So there are two possibilities. The first one is this intermediate way will be considering it to be in series, and these two columns, that is K2 equal to 1 and this K2 equal to 1, again will be in series to this lump mass, that is M. Clear? So the mathematical model here will be something like this. Both the cases are connected with ground. So first will be prescribing our fixed or the rigid support, that is ground. The first column, or you can say the first support that is connected to ground, is K1. Clear? So here will be prescribing a spring in the form of K1. These two columns are parallel to each other. Clear? These two columns are parallel to each other, and for parallel connection, the values of KE will be equal to K1 plus K2 as we discussed earlier. Clear? So the KE1 will be equal to K1 plus this K1. So this will be 2 plus 2 will be equal to 4. So this is of our first floor, if you say that. Clear? This will be of our first floor, or it is the ground floor. KE equal to 4. Now moving across, here there is no mass being given. If there is mass being given here, then the stuff could be different. We'll be looking upon later on. Now moving across, now moving on to these columns. So the stiffness here is K2. Again the stiffness here is K2. These both columns are parallel to each other. Clear? So now the KE, that is equivalency of this two portion, will be equal to KE2. In KE2 will be equal to summation of this one and summation of this one. So KE2 will be now equal to 2. Clear? So the entire system will be in series, but these both columns will be in parallel. Clear? So now the total mass, as we can see here, is resting here. The force will be applied, that is F of t, displacement will be y, so, and this will be our mathematical model. Now if we talk about the equivalency of these two again, because again there are two springs connected in, means this is a series connection. We just need to identify or need to finalize the mathematical model by using one spring and one damper. So here it is mentioned as two springs, so this is not our final answer. Our final answer should be in the form of only one spring. So again writing it off in the Spingel's equivalency system, that is KE. This was KE1, this is KE2. Now we'll be finding the equivalency of these two units, that is equivalency of KE1 and KE2. That will be equal to our final equivalency, that will be KE. That comes out to be 4 by 3. How? For that we'll be seeing this. As these both are in series connection, the equation will be 1 upon KE will be equal to 1 upon KE1 plus 1 upon KE2. So it will be 1 upon 4 plus 1 upon 2. Clear? Taking LCM of it, it will be 3 by 4. 1 upon KE. Now keep in mind, most of the students are making this mistake, that identifying the value of 1 by KE, they are assuming this as the final answer to be in the form of KE. But keep in mind, this is 1 by KE. So the final answer will be inverse of this value. Clear? So 1 by KE comes out to be 3 by 4. So KE will be equal to 4 by 3. This is our final answer. So the equivalent spring constant of the entire lump mass model will be 4 by 3. If the intermediary doesn't have any mass in it. Clear? If the mass is located only in the top story, then it will be something like this. Clear? This is the mathematical modeling of this structure. Now moving across, we will be seeing our third case, that will be a mathematical modeling of a portal frame, but the mass now will be divided into both the story. That is, mass will be divided in this M1 portion and the M2 portion too. So again the cases will be the same. Let us assume this mass to be M1 and let us assume this mass to be M2. In the previous scenario, this M2 was not present. Clear? So what will be changes we'll be looking upon. Now this will be our spring constant, that is K1, and this will be our spring constant, that is K2. Here the values are not mentioned because we won't be dealing in that in detail. So to find the mathematical model of this thing, this will be our given system. So first of all, always start from the rigid portion. So the rigid portion is this. First we will be drawing a rigid support, then we will be drawing the support, that will be a stiffener. So the first stiffener that comes into picture is K2. Clear? And as these both are in parallel, this will be our equivalent K2. That means if it was given K2 equal to 1 and this K2 equal to 1, then this K2 will be equal to 2, whatever the values are given, just as we saw in the previous example. So this will be our K2 that will be in parallel, so it will be Ke equal to K1 plus K2. Stuff. Now here the mass is being present. In the previous scenario, here the mass was not there, so we directly connected these both series. That means these both springs were directly connected. But now an intermediary mass M2 is being given. So now here we will be placing a mass M2 between these two springs. Now the deflection, or you can say the displacement of this mass will be different as compared to this mass. Now keep it this mind, total x, that is total displacement. In the previous scenario there was only one mass, so the total displacement was dependent on that mass only, but here two masses are being given, that is M1 and M2. So the displacement corresponding to M2 will be taking it to be x2, and displacement corresponding to M1 will be taking it as x1. Clear? So this will be our mathematical model of this system. Now considering the free body diagram, we need to identify the free body diagrams of both the masses separately. So if we are talking about M2, then this will be our M2. There is no damper connected, so Cx dot will not be coming into picture. Only there will be inertia force and stiffener force, or I can say spring force. So inertia force due to M2 will be M2 into x2 double dot, and this will be K2 x2. Force will be the same. There won't be division, that Ft1 and Ft2. If we talk about the free body diagram of M1, then inertia force will be due to M1. That will be M1 into x1 double dot, but keep that in mind. Now x1 will be different. Here x1 is the displacement occurring through this portion, that is the rigid frame. So up to this part x2 is already been covered. This is x1, so we need to deduct this much displacement to get the actual remaining displacement in this portion. So the displacement in this portion will be x1 minus x2. Clear? Now this is the important part that you need to remember if this type of any system is given. Here the x, that is our displacement, here will be x1 minus x2. So this was all about mathematical modeling, or how you will be drawing mathematical modeling. In the next session, we'll be starting with our numerical part. Thank you.